Erev Tov, good evening. We're in Parashat Pkudey, ending Sefer Shmot, and we're dedicating the Shiur in the memory of Reb Shmuel Aaron ben
Moshe Chaim.
Moshe Chaim. Moshe Chaim, Ezrat Hashem, his yahrzeit is tonight, so the Shiur will be in his memory.
Thank you.
We are finishing actually a series of 4 shiurim dealing with the Mikdash Shlomo, and last week we dealt at length at the character of Shlomo as a person, that he was a very unique character because religiously speaking we're used to divide the world into 2 groups, Goyim, or the non-religious or non-obedient Jews from on the one side, because in the biblical time we didn't have non-religious people, and from the other side we have of the Hashem, we have David HaMelech, we have all the people who go on the way. But we find both character intertwined in one personality, which is Shlomo HaMelech. From the one hand, he is very, very Torani. His wisdom is something that hadn't been heard before. All the people from all the world come to meet him, to listen to him. And we know from Sefer Shir HaShirim, we know from Mishle, we know from a lot of books, Kehilat, that he was a very, very wise person and Torani as well. He builds Beit HaMikdash, but at the same night, he marries out Bat Paro, and we understood that his character is trying to combine both aspects of the inner spiritual aspect of the world with the outer tangible, right? Material aspect of the world, and therefore he was very rich, was very wealthy. He likes the life he built. He had a lot of wives, etc. That's a part of it. I just want to say another thing. You know that when Shlomo HaMelech builds his house, and we'll see it in this week's Haftorah, and we'll see it in this shiur. So it's called Beit Ya'ar HaLevanon. In free translation, it means the house of Lebanon forest. And probably it was called like that because the house, Beit HaMikdash, was made of cedars, right? Arazim. Lebanon is a country of cedars. And we see that the first thing that Shlomo does, and that's another thing I would like to say, the first thing when he's coronated, he calls Hiram Melech Tzor after the 2 wives and the 2 babies. So he calls Hiram Melech Tzor, Hiram, the king of Lebanon, and he asks him to pay for his workers. They'll work for me in cutting cedars and send them for Beit HaMikdash, and I'll pay you. So it's good, now we try to take care for the economy of Lebanon, and they try to kill us. But in that time, we tried to take care for the economy of Lebanon, and they tried to help us. So it was a win-win situation. And it's interesting that the first thing that the king does is calling a foreign king to help him. It's very natural to us, but it's very weird, because you wouldn't expect the first thing of a Jewish king, and it's not even the first thing of a Jewish king, it's a first thing of the first Jew or second Jewish king, or the first one complete kingdom, the first thing that he does is calling a foreign governor or king to help him. And as I said before, the Beit HaMikdash is called Beit Ya'ar HaLevanon. We're not ashamed to call it on a foreign name, okay? That it was called Lebanon, that it was called Ya'ar HaLevanon. We called him on the cedars of Lebanon. Okay? So Chazal had their own interpretation that Lebanon doesn't mean Lebanon, it means from the whitening, because Beit HaMikdash was whitening the sins of the people. Chazal understood it as a drash, but basically it's just a as a word of Lebanon. Okay, it's very clear that it was taken from Lebanon. So you see again that Shlomo HaMelech doesn't have any shame to call his own Beit HaMikdash made by non-Jews. Okay, afterwards Chazal would say that the reason that Beit HaMikdash was destroyed was because he was built by non-Jews. Chazal would say that Beit HaMikdash HaSheni was built by Jews. Okay, Beit HaMikdash HaShlishi would be built by Jews or by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The better, he is best Jewish. Okay, but Beit HaMikdash HaRishon was do you hear me? Because you make
I hear, did not Shlomo pay for all the work in giving land to him, land of real Eretz Yisrael?
Yeah, okay. So you say that because of that it was okay?
No, I don't know if it's okay.
Yeah.
I was just saying, you were talking about
You can go in.
Land of Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah. You're right, but that's another aspect. Okay, they don't contradict each other. That's true. But the relations of Shlomo with the different ambassadors and ambassadresses and kingdom and so it all one big world, global village. Okay, he was the first global village person, and he understood that yes, I'm not ashamed to call my mikdash made by China or made by USA or made by Germany or whatever you want. And Chazal really criticized him about that, even though that Hiram was very honest and they didn't have any one word against him, but they said you should build the Beit HaMikdash for just Bniyah Yehudit, what we call today. Shlomo HaMelech didn't care about it, and from his own perspective, it wasn't even not a sin and not something, people's, if you don't have a problem with war, etc., so people don't have any problem in employing non-Israeli, non-Jewish. It might be against the law if he doesn't have a license, but some people with wide perspective, they don't care if it's Jewish, non-Jewish, and all Chazal, what Chazal said, that you shouldn't give tzedakah just because Darchei Shalom, some people do it, naturally. Rav Soloveitchik, he had a servant or mesharetet that helped him, and she was obviously non-Jewish, and he never thought in terms of should I give her tzedakah because it's permitted or not. She's just a human being, and that's it. So Shlomo thought that way. He understood that we're all human beings, we're all the Tzelem Elokim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and basically if we can unite all the world, that would be the best thing, and that's why he combined Beit HaMikdash with his house. I would like to discuss it a little bit further with some prakim that I'll show you here. I just פרק א', it's not פרק א', I need פרק מלכים א' הכל. Okay. So let's go. We have here all Sefer Melachim, and I'll run from Posuk to Posuk. So if we go to Perek Vav, Shlomo Melech starts building his house. Let me just move here a little bit. Okay. So הנה. שלמה המלך ויהי ב80 שנה ו400 שנה לצאת בני ישראל מארץ מצרים, בשנה הרביעית בחודש זיו, הוא החודש השני למלוך שלמה על ישראל, ויבן הבית להשם. Okay, so in חודש אייר, he starts building the בית להשם. He starts with building the house of Hashem. And then its dimensions, 60 אמה אורכו, 20 רוחבו ו30 אמה קומתו, האולם, whatever, והחלונות, okay. בסדר, till פסוק י'. We see here פרשה פתוחה, another issue. אוקיי. ויהי דבר השם אל שלמה לאמור. הבית הזה אשר אתה בונה, הקדוש ברוך הוא talks to him and tells him that just if you keep דרכי השם, it will be very nice. Okay, and then שלמה ויבן את קירות, ויבן, ויעש, ויבן, okay. A lot of things at length, till פסוק למ"ח. But what happened in פסוק למ"ח? בשנה הרביעית יוסד בית השם בירח זיו, אוקיי? ירח זיו, מחלוקת עם ראש השנה, if it's ניסן או אייר, ובשנה ה-11 בירח בול, הוא החודש השמיני, כלה הבית לכל דבריו ולכל משפטו, ויבנהו 7 שנים. So how many years did he build בית המקדש? 7 years. Okay, so now you see, and the psukim conclude, summarize that he built it 7 years. Here is all the details of Beit HaMikdash. Now we're going to his house, ve'et beito, his own house, bana Shlomo 13 shana. So you might think that his house is better than Beit HaMikdash, because Beit HaMikdash he built in 7 years, and his house he built 13 years. So did he take more years for his own house? No, the answer is on the contrary, because if you build quickly, it means that you care for it. If you are lazy, you don't run, you do it slowly, it means that you don't care so much. So Beit HaMikdash he cared, and therefore he did it in 7 years. His own house he did just in 13 years because he didn't care. Okay. ויכל את כל ביתו. טוב, okay. So we dealt with Beit HaMikdash at the beginning, and at the end of the parak we have his own house. But then we go back, ויבן את בית יער הלבנון. And we have כל הפתחים והמזוזות, and we have אולם העמודים, אולם הכיסא, etc., etc. What are we talking about? Okay? If he finished with Beit HaMikdash and then went to his house, why is it described Beit HaMikdash, then his house, then again Beit HaMikdash? And look here, וישלח המלך שלמה ויקח את חירם מצור. Okay, חירם מצור, he made all the things. So if you didn't finish with all the deeds of Beit HaMikdash, why did you stop in the middle to describe your own house? Okay, it shouldn't be stuck in the middle. And again, you see that the Mikra, the Psukim in Sefer Melachim, deliberately put his own house like a sandwich. From one side Beit HaMikdash, from the other side Beit HaMikdash. In the middle you have his own house, because there is no distinction between Beit HaMikdash and his own house. It's just one big complex. And we'll see that his own house he built 13 years, Beit HaMikdash he built 7 years, and at the end of it, it will be written that both of them he built 20 years. Okay, so let's see, where is it? Vayas. And after all of this, it's a long perek. Okay, just a second, let's find it. Vatishlam, where is it? So let's do it with a stream. We have so many, but just a minute. Esrim core. I'll skip from Esrim. Just a minute. Oh, in פרק ט', פסוק י', ויהי מקצה 20 שנה אשר בנה שלמה את שני הבתים, את בית השם ואת בית המלך. Again, you see how it's all one project. Okay? And in דברי הימים, it's even written from the beginning. דברי הימים ב', פרק א', פסוק י"ח, I won't go now, but ויאמר שלמה לבנות בית לשם השם, okay? ובית למלכותו. That's a posuk. So the posuk says again, ויאמר שלמה לבנות בית לשם השם ובית למלכותו. It's two things together. And when you have the combination of bait l'shem Hashem and bait from your own house, king's palace, so it might bring you into two extreme different points of view. From the one point of view, you might understand really that you imitate God, imitatio Dei in Latin, meaning that what Chazal calls, or what the Zohar says, Malchuta de Ar'a is ke'en Malchuta de Rakia, that the king here that you look at is something symbolizing or similar to the king up, the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Okay? Chazal talked a lot of the dimui, of the similarity between Melech Basar Vadam and Melech Malchei HaMelachim. And if you look at Shlomo, you really can see how HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks like. Mamash. You know that if you look at David and you think of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, David is a sad person. He has a lot of problems. He has problems in his family. Avshalom, Adoniah. He wants to sit in Bet Hashem. He's not happy most of the time. I think that he's happy, but it's not written that he had good life. And in Sefer Tehillim, he had a lot of metzukot. He had a lot of agony. He had a lot of problems with Shaul, with his family. But when you talk about Shaul, you see Shlomo, you see a smiling king, a person that really enjoys life at the beginning, from just the beginning. He really loves life. He is not afraid of going to restaurants. He is not afraid of building, towers and so on. And you really see how Kadosh Baruch Hu is happy in creating his world, because if HaKadosh Baruch Hu just wants a world of Teire, of Bate Midrash, HaKadosh Baruch Hu would create just, Bate Midrash and Bate Knesset. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates the whole world, and the world is beautiful. And Shlomo symbolizes HaKadosh Baruch Hu, mamash, the completeness of the creation. That's one point of view. But from the other point of view, it can and just let me add that it can bring you not only to symbolize HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but to feel Kirvat Elokim, to feel Yiras Shamayim, because you really feel that everything you do is Mamash Hashem. When Shlomo HaMelech gives his tefillah, the beautiful tefillah that he gives at the Chanukat Habayit, it will be this week's Haftarah. So he talks about every single thing. You have Batzoret, you have Ra'av, okay? You have a war, you're sick, everything. You're Gentile, you're non-Jewish, everything. You go to Bet HaMikdash and HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens to you because you're just a human being. You feel the Kirvat Hashem, everything you do. You don't have the inner argument or inner lack of serenity when you have a fight. You religious people are in fight. They always intention to go to do a speak, to learn, not to waste time. But Shlomo Melech lives like a really normal human being. He has his time. He has time for everything, and it's mamash what you can feel from the Kirvat Hashem. But on the other side, you don't know the limits of what separates you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore his descendants, Rechavam, Asa, Chizkiyahu, all the three of them, when a foreign king comes and tries to conquer Yerushalayim, they easily give him a shochad, ransom of kelim from Beit HaMikdash. They just, Rechavam, Shishak, the king of Egypt, comes. Rechavam is a little bit afraid of him, and he gives him all the matot nechoshet and things. How dare you do it? I mean, if you are in a Pikuach Nefesh, I'm not talking about, but he wasn't in Pikuach Nefesh, and he just takes it because he understands that it's my palace and the Kadosh Baruch Hu's palace are the same. The same thing happens with Asa. He has Milchemet Achim, brother war, with Baasha, Baasha, Melech Israel, and he does the same thing. The third one is Chizkiyahu with Sancheriv. So he gives him the treasures of Beit HaMikdash just to plead him. And again, it's a matter of the problem when you feel too close. And another aspect of this problem is Uziyahu Melech that felt so close with the Kadosh Baruch Hu that he decided that he's not only the king, but a Levi of Hashem. So he just put the tzitz and got into Beit HaMikdash, and he got Unitztara. He was Metzoira till the end of his life. And it's the same problem. You feel too close to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. I want to bring you another thing. Just let's go back few psukim backwards to Perek Lamed, Perek Vav. If we see here, so בשנה הרביעית יוסד בית השם בירח זיו. And ירח זיו, בשנה ה-11 בירח בול הוא החודש השמיני, כלה הבית. Okay, so it's 7 years. From השנה הרביעית till השנה ה-11, okay? בירח בול. What does it mean בול? Okay? You know that all the names of the months are from Bavel. We're in Beit Rishon, so we don't have foreign names. We don't have Kislev, we don't have Tammuz, we don't have all these names of the Chodoshim. It will just appear in the later Nevi'im of Kehilat Beit Sheni, like Zechariah. Okay, so what does it mean, Bul? Bul means Mar Cheshvan. Okay, הוא החודש השמיני. The 7th is Tishrei, as you all know, okay? And the 8th is Cheshvan. So we finished the Beit HaMikdash, B'yerach Bul. Okay. And then, ואת ביתו בנה שלמה 13 שנה. So you might think that it's separate, but if I go back to פרק ט', פסוק א', that ויהי מקצה שנה, 20 שנה, so אשר בנה שלמה את שני הבתים, okay, so then he makes חנוכת הבית, and you can see, sorry, it's not here, okay, it's before, sorry, it's very mixed. So it's written that he, you don't need me. You know that Chanukat HaBayit was in Tishrei. How do I know? Because the famous Gemara in Moed Katan says that this year they made Chanukat HaBayit from Chet be Tishrei till Tetvav. They didn't keep Yom Kippur, as I said, I think a week before. They didn't keep Yom Kippur. It was Hora'at Sha'ah that year not to keep Yom Kippur. And you remember that I said that it's against Shlomo HaMelech, like Shlomo's style. You don't have to fast anymore. You know that there was a PM years ago, Burg, Avraham Burg. He was a son of Rabbi Yosef Burg. Okay, so he wasn't so. He said that after Akamat Medinat Israel, after 67, we don't have to fast anymore on Tisha B'Av, and he just fasted half a day. Okay, so the same thing happens with Shlomo. Shlomo feels that Yom Kippur is for the sinners, for the Am Yisrael before Beit HaMikdash. I don't need it anymore because we're in a complete world. Everything is fine. Everything is full of wealth and wisdom, and we're at the end of the world, so we don't need anything. And therefore, he didn't make a fast, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu permitted them that year. Okay, but b'chol mikre, in any case, it was b'yerach ha'itanim b'chag. That's what I looked for. Okay, so b'yerach ha'itanim, meaning Sukkot. After he finished 7 days of Chanukat Habayit, from Chet till Yudaled, including Yudaled, then Am Yisrael made Besimcha uVetuv Levav et Chag HaSukkot. Okay, so if you go back to the pasuk that I just showed you at the beginning of Perek Zayin, you saw that he finished his Beit HaMikdash in Chodesh Cheshvan, in Chodesh Bul, hu HaChodesh HaShmini, the 8th month. Why did he call Am Yisrael just 11 months later, Tishrei of HaChodesh HaShvi'i? Why did he wait so much? There is no reason. Okay, he finished making Beit HaMikdash when? Chodesh Cheshvan, the 8th month. When did he make Chanukat Habayit? Just 11 months later. Okay, Tishrei Chodesh HaShvi'i. Doesn't make any sense. What you must say, that after he finished building Beit HaMikdash in Chodesh Cheshvan, he started building his own house on Chodesh Cheshvan, and it took 13 years, and it ended on Tishrei, and therefore finishing the whole complex of 20 years, as we saw in the former pasuk of Perek Tet, pasuk Aleph, 20 years, then he called Am Yisrael to Chanukat Habayit. So again and again and again, we see that his own house is located in the middle of building Beit HaMikdash, but deliberately it's not separated into two sections, and deliberately he combined Beit HaMikdash and his own house. We see now from as the aspect of the time, Shlomo HaMelech finished Beit HaMikdash on Chodesh Cheshvan, but he didn't wait, he didn't make Chanukat Habayit immediately. He Lichora started immediately building his own house. It took 13 years, and then he finished on Tishrei, that it wasn't 13 complete years, it was 13 years minus a Chodesh, minus a month, and then he made Chanukat Habayit after 20 years. So you see that Mamash, etzel Shlomo, by Shlomo, the whole, we're talking about 20 years, we're talking about his own house with the Beit HaMikdash all together, and we understood why. Now we have time. I would like to discuss in the few minutes that we have what Mr. Posner asked me a few times ago about the differences of Beit HaMikdash of Shlomo, okay? Because we've read in Perek Zayin, Pasuk Tet, let's see it again. ואת המנורות, ויעש שלמה את כל הכלים אשר בית השם, את מזבח הזהב, ואת השולחן אשר עליו לחם הפנים זהב. Okay, so it seems as if he built just one shulchan, but we saw in Divrei Hayamim, Perek Bet, Pasuk Vav, we won't do it now, that Shlomo HaMelech built 10 tables. ואת המנורות, it's explicit even here, that he made 5 מימין ו5 משמאל, לפני הדביר זהב סגור, and we saw that he built 10 kiorim as well. So we see 10 kiorim, 10 menorot, 10 shulchanot. And I don't remember what I have said, but I might say it mistakenly. Few weeks ago when we were in Parashat Truma and I gave the shiur, I remember that you asked me, I don't remember what I answered, Mr. Posner, that you asked me if it was all, he used it all together. The answer is yes. It was 5 from one side, from the other side. In the middle, there was a menorah and the shulchan and the mizbeach. Okay, so there was the menorah, there was the shulchan, and from the outer, in the north and in the south, there were 5 menorot and 5 shulchanot that Shlomo all did it. Okay, there is a machloket in the Mishnah of Zvachim, in Menachot, if Shlomo HaMelech lit them all the 11 menorot, or just the one from Moshe. Okay, there is one shita that he lit just one, and the other 10 were for Yochi, like an ornament. and there is another shita that the Kohen Gadol lit every day 11 menorot. Okay, and the same thing with the lechem apanim. It's a question whether he put lechem apanim on one table or that he put lechem apanim on 12 or 11 tables, the one from Moshe and 10 more. And now, why did he do it? Why did he choose to be 10 multiple than Moshe? 10 times more than Moshe. So the Midrash HaGadol says that Moshe, the Midrash HaGadol says it explicitly, that Moshe did 1 and Shlomo did 10. Other Meforshim even learn it from the Pasuk Te'aseh HaMenorah. The Pasuk says Te'aseh, Taf Yud Ein Sin Hey, and the Yud is superfluous, we don't need it. So the Midrash says, Ibn Ezra, the Tosfot say, Te'aseh, Ta'aseh Yud. You'll have to do 10 menorot. Why did Shlomo make so many menorot? Yalkut Shimoni says that B'derech HaTeva, you need 10 times more Shefa. Now it's Am Yisrael in its place. It's not in the Midbar, in the desert. And Shlomo HaMelech needs more Shefa, more blossom, more influence from HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Am Yisrael. And therefore, he doesn't need 7 candles, he needs 70 candles. You might even relate it to the 70 nations that Am Yisrael influences all the world. And therefore, we need a lot of shefa, and it's the same with the shulchan. We need a lot of wealth. Okay, the Meshech Chochma says something very nice. He says that if you make the calculation of the width and length and height of Beit HaMikdash and compare it into Moshe's, you'll see that Beit HaMikdash was 12 times bigger, because Moshe's Mishkan is 30 on 10 on 10, while Beit HaMikdash is 30 on 20 on 60. So the difference between 20 on 10 is twice, and the difference between 60 and 10 is 6 times. So 6 times and twice, it's 12 times. And he says that Moshe should have, so you need more light, and you need more food, in a bigger house. So if the volume of Beit HaMikdash was 12 times bigger than the Mishkan of Moshe, it's very mitbakesh, it's very logical, rational, that Shlomo would make more light, and therefore he needed 11 chandeliers. Why did he make 11 and not 12? Because if he used Moshe's and bring just 11 more in order to make 12, it will be, he'll have a problem where to locate it, because then he'll have to put 6 from both sides, and he won't have one in the middle. And Shlomo wanted to put Moshe's in the middle and to put just from both sides, and therefore he took the closest number, that the closest to 12. He took the 11. Okay, that's what the Meshech Chochma Reb Meir Simcha said. Just to end with it, and we'll end today a few minutes maybe before, I just want to tell you that in Beit Sheni, how many menorot were? How many tables were? How many kiorim there were? So we know that we have 3 descriptions of Beit HaMikdash in the Nevi'im. We have 1 description in Sefer Melachim, what we have read from Perek Gimel till Perek Yud, or the Mikdash of Shlomo, and the same thing happens in Sefer Divrei Yamim, and with changes, but okay, it's the Mikdash Shlomo. We have a description in Sefer Yechezkel, and it's not like Mikdash Shlomo, and it's not like the Mikdash of Beit Sheni, so it must be the Mikdash of Beit Shlishi, okay? And Yecheskel describes a very weird mikdash with different things that what we know about, and Chazal said that he probably describes a Beit Shlishi. And the third measures or description of Bet HaMikdash is not in the Tanakh, is in Masechet Midot, and that describes Beit Sheni. In Masechet Midot, we don't find any where there was more than one menorah or one table or one kior. And the Rambam pasking l'halacha, Rambam talks just about Beit Sheni. He talks just about one menorah, one shulchan, and one kior. But there are some rishonim in few places, mefaresh of Masechet Tamid, and other rishonim that say that in Beit Sheni there were few kelim as well. And you know that in Titus gate, there is a picture of the menorah, and it's very famous because the Rami Lubavitch spoke about it. You know that in Chabad's Shita, in the Rambam's Shita, the menorah is not circular, but like with angles, like a triangle. Okay, you have here and up. Okay, so if you buy a menorah for Hanukkah, so usually if you say a Chabad Chanukiah, you'll get something with a sharp kanim, not lo meugan, not circular. And that's because of the Rabbi's Shita in the menorah of the Mikdash. The Rambam has in Perush HaMishnah, the Rambam בעצמו, himself, made a picture of the menorah, and he writes it with kanim like this. So it must be that the Rambam understood, or either that you say that the Rambam didn't care, so he just painted it with kavim yesharim. But if you say that the Rambam knew what he was doing, so the Rambam hold that the shita of the menorah is like this. And in Shar Titus, in Titus Gate in Rome, you see something differently. How is it possible? So there was a big machloket whether the menorah in Shar Titus depicts the real menorah, because it might be, even without what I'm going to say now, that Am Yisrael had 3 menorot, okay? In case that the menorah would be broken or something would happen to it, so we'll have some reserva. We have another one, and we'll take it from the machsan and bring it and light it. And that's when Tito came and stole all the vessels of Beit HaMikdash. He stole probably all the menorot that they had, and therefore he stole the triangle one, the original one, but the circular one, which was just a substitute. That's one shita. But now we might say that Shlomo Melech, as he himself built 11 menorot, so in Beit Sheni, according to those Rishonim, there was as well more than one menorah. I don't know if it's 12 or 11 or just 2 or 3, I don't know. But it might be that as Shlomo permitted himself to change, and as you asked me, how did he make a change? Because even though that it's written, הכל ביד השם בכתב, מיד השם עלי השכיל, meaning to say that it must be exactly as HaKadosh Baruch Hu ordered him, it must be that he had the Kabbalah Sinai, that he can change it and can enlarge it, its height, its length, etc., and its numbers of menorot and shulchanot. And therefore, in Beit Sheni, it was the same, maybe, according to these Rishonim. And if I would make more than one menorah, I would make them all the same, because it looks better. But some, omanim, some artists might decide that if we have 3, let's make a combination of all the menorot that we have. Let's make one circular, one sharp. I don't know. So it might be that they did it that way, and therefore, when Tito stole it all, he stole one circular, and that's why that's what the one depicted in Sha'ar Titus. So it might be that it was one of the original menorot used in Bayit Sheni. But again, it's just the minority of the Rishonim, and we don't find anywhere, not in Rambam, not in Yosef ben Nuntiyahu, nowhere a description of more than one menorah in Bayit Sheni. That's it. We're finishing with Sefer Shmot. We're finishing with Shlomo, and B'ezrat Hashem next week we'll do with the Korbanot probably, or
Very good.
make a separate shiur on Zachor.
Rabbi, if you just let me share screen for 2 seconds.
Ah, sure. Yeah. How do I do it? Just a minute. Advanced sharing option. Yeah. Now I think you are permitted.
Okay.
You brought Sha'ar Titus. Very nice. It's yourself in Rome?
Yeah, my photos.
Very nice. Here, yeah. Here. Yeah, so you see that it's circular. Wow, thanks.
Oh.
And another thing you have to think about the how do you say, not comparison. If it's not too big and the kanea emtzai is not too high, because it's
not to scale. Not to scale.
The scale it might be weird a little bit, and the 3 stairs here. It's not clear that it was 3 stairs. Rambam says like this, but others says that it was just round without stairs at all. So, okay. So we'll need the Mashiach to tell us what the real truth is. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good night and B'sorot Tovot. Chodesh Tov.
Chodesh Tov.
And you.
You know, Rav Cahn, why Shlomo waited 13 years, and then why he built 11 menorot. He was waiting for Tofes Arba.
Right. But in his life and in his kingdom, it was a real good kingdom without bureaucracy. So that's what I said, that he was a man of the world, not a man of Israel. Laila Tov.